The movie starts with young Blake having breakfast when his father, Grady, tells him to get ready for a hunting trip. Excited but unsure of what to expect, Blake grabs his hunting gear and follows his father into the forest. As they venture deeper, Grady gives him important advice about surviving in the wild. He emphasizes that while the forest is beautiful, it is also full of dangers, and paying attention to the surroundings is crucial. Blake, however, gets distracted by the majestic beauty of the forest, which annoys his father. Grady tries to stress the importance of staying alert. Suddenly, they spot a deer. Grady kneels down to take aim, but the deer runs away before he can shoot. When he turns back, Blake is nowhere to be found. Unbeknownst to Grady, Blake has wandered off, following the deer. As Blake hides beneath a tree, expecting the deer to reappear, he sees a strange, terrifying creature instead. Shocked, he starts backing away slowly. At that moment, Grady finds him and scolds him harshly for wandering off in such a dangerous forest. While reprimanding Blake, Grady hears growling sounds from deep within the woods. Realizing something is wrong, Grady instructs Blake to hide in a nearby treehouse. Grady joins him there, and both remain silent, hiding from the unseen predator. Blake is terrified as his father keeps his gun aimed at the door, ready to defend them. After some time, Grady uses the scope on his gun to scan the area and notices the carcass of the deer they were hunting earlier. The sight confirms his suspicion. There is a larger predator in the forest. To keep Blake calm, he tells him it's just a bear. Eventually, they return home safely. That night, Blake overhears Grady making a distress call. Grady tells a man named Dan on the phone that the mythical creature he had heard rumors about is real. He insists he saw it through his gun scope. Grady is determined to hunt down the creature. While on the call, he realizes Blake has been eavesdropping. The story jumps 30 years forward. Blake is now an adult and a father to a young daughter, Ginger. Blake lives in San Francisco with his workaholic wife, Charlotte, who struggles to balance her career and family life. One evening, Charlotte hands Blake a letter containing Grady's death certificate and the keys to Blake's childhood home. Grady had been missing for years, and the authorities had officially declared him dead. The news brings mixed emotions to the family, with Ginger showing sympathy for her father's loss. The next day, Blake suggests taking a summer vacation to his childhood home in Oregon. He believes it will help the family reconnect and spend quality time together. Charlotte is reluctant because of her work commitments, but eventually agrees, realizing the importance of family time, especially for Ginger. Upon arriving in Oregon, Blake struggles to find the route to Grady's house. While checking the map, Ginger notices someone camped in a treehouse nearby. The man, Charlotte, tends to Blake's wound, but he starts showing strange symptoms, including sweating, heightened senses, and hallucinations. He becomes increasingly paranoid, hearing even the faintest sounds, like a spider crawling on the wall. Realizing something is wrong, he concludes that he is undergoing a transformation. The creature eventually finds them and tries to break in. Blake holds it off, but during the struggle, Charlotte saves him by striking the creature with an axe. Though injured and disoriented, Blake starts losing his motor functions, speech, and awareness. Charlotte and Ginger are heartbroken as they watch him deteriorate. Eric introduces himself as Dan's son. After some conversation, Derek offers to guide them to Grady's house. Although Charlotte is uneasy about letting Derek join them, she agrees reluctantly. As night falls during their journey, Blake suddenly loses control of the truck after spotting a strange creature on the road. The vehicle crashes into the forest, flipping over. Blake, Charlotte, and Ginger climb out of the wreckage, but the creature attacks them. It scratches Blake's arm and kills Derek, dragging him away. Blake, now injured, leads his terrified family to Grady's house. As they approach, they hear growling noises from the forest and quicken their pace. Once inside, Blake barricades the door and takes his family to the bunker in the house, where he activates the backup generator. That night, another werewolf attacks the house. Blake fights the creature while Charlotte and Ginger try to escape. Despite his injuries, Blake manages to kill the werewolf by biting its neck. Upon closer inspection, he discovers a tattoo on the creature's arm, revealing it to be his father, Grady, who had also succumbed to the transformation. Overwhelmed by this revelation, Blake flees the house. Outside, he undergoes the final stages of his transformation into a werewolf. His night vision enhances, and he loses control of himself entirely. Blake, now fully transformed, attacks his own family. Charlotte and Ginger run to a nearby barn for safety. Using her resourcefulness, Charlotte sets up traps to protect them. One of the traps catches Blake, but despite his monstrous form, he hesitates to harm them. This brief moment of humanity gives Charlotte and Ginger a chance to escape. Meanwhile, other werewolves continue to hunt them. In the final showdown, Charlotte and Blake team up to fight off the creatures. Blake uses the last remnants of his humanity to protect his family, sacrificing himself to ensure their survival.